Okay, so we were solving exercise 29. Here we have to show that U8 is not a cyclic group. We have already seen that this group has order 4. So to show that it is not a cyclic group, we have to show that U8 has no element of order 4. Okay, now U8 has 4 elements. So we look at the orders of its elements. Note that U8 has these elements. The notation is not very good of these congruence classes. It only shows the representatives of the congruence classes, but it does not show the modulus. So you have to understand that here the congruence classes are modulo 8. What that really means is this. This congruence class, for example, is the set of all integers of this form, where m is an integer. Okay, so the other congruence classes also have similar definitions. Since you can see that these squares, all of them are actually equal to the congruence class 1. So each one of them will have order less than or equal to 2, because order by definition is the smallest positive exponent for which the corresponding power equals the identity of the group. So here the identity is this, and the identity itself, we have already said this before, in any group has order 1. So there is no element of order 4. U8 has no element of order 4. So U8 is not cyclic, and the reason for this conclusion is that if you have a group G, and if you take an element A in G whose order is n, then the order of the cyclic subgroup generated by A is also equal to n. So these elements, each one of these 3 elements will generate a cyclic subgroup whose order is less than or equal to 2, and the identity element will generate a cyclic subgroup whose order is 1, which has only the identity element. So none of the cyclic subgroups equal the whole group. So that just shows that the whole group cannot be cyclic itself. So that's why it is not cyclic. Exercise 30. Show that U9 is a cyclic group. Okay, so once we prove U9 is a cyclic group, that means it has generators. So we have to then find all the generators. That is the second half of this exercise. What are all of its generators. What is the all its generators? Okay. Showing that a group is cyclic is easier than showing that a group is not cyclic, because you just have to exhibit that there is some generator, and this task, although it involves many things, I mean many things in the sense that it has many calculations, I will leave out the calculations. I will just simply mention that this element is a generator of U9. It's up to you to show that the element is actually a generator. One can verify that U9 is equal to the cyclic subgroup generated by the congruence class 2 modulo 9. How will you verify this? To verify this, you just have to show that order of this congruence class is equal to order of U9. Now order of U9 is what? By our formula, this is phi of 9, and phi of 9 is 9 times 1 minus 1 by 3. So that is equal to 9 times 2 by 3, which is 6. So you have to show that order of 2 is 6, and to show this in turn, you have to prove that this is equal to the identity element, and this is not equal to the identity element for all positive I less than 6. That is, 6 is the smallest index for which the corresponding power is the identity element, and as such 6 is by definition the order of 2. These things are just some calculations which you have to perform. They should be included in the solution. So here I am leaving out that part. So the solution that I am writing here is in that sense somewhat incomplete, but you can understand. You can supply the missing details, that U9 is equal to 2. Okay, now we come to the second half of the exercise. We have to find the other generators. Other generators means one generator we have already found in showing that this is cyclic. We have to now find the other generators, and in doing so we will take the help of exercise 28. By exercise 28, any generator of U9 is of the form congruence class 2 to the power I, where I is a positive integer relatively prime to the order of the group. You recall what we had in exercise 28. There you will find that there we have a cyclic group G, say generated by A, and say order of G is n. Then that all the generators of G are of this form, a to the power I. You go to the exercise and look at its solution. In the solution you will find that these are the generators where I is any positive integer less than n and relatively prime to n. N is the order of the group. So that's why here we want I to be less than 6 and relatively prime to 6. I need some ink. Okay, now the integers, positive integers less than 6 and relatively prime to 6 are 1 and 5. So the possible values of I are 1 and 5. If we choose I equal to 1, we get this generator itself, but if we choose I equal to 5, we get another generator. Hence the only other generator is 2 to the power 5, which turns out to be equal to 5. To calculate this, you just apply the definition of multiplication we have in U9, which is multiplication modulo 9. You will have this equal to the congruence class where we have the integer 2 to the power 5, that is 32, and you will see that 32 becomes congruent to 5 modulo 9. So this congruence class equals this one. Okay, so this is the only other generator. In the coming exercises where we have to find all the generators for some cyclic group, we won't write even these things. We will just directly write the generators and we won't even mention exercise 28. Okay, so next, so this exercise is one such. Show that U17 is cyclic what are all its generators. One can verify that U17 is generated by the congruence class 3. Here this denotes congruence class 3 modulo 17. Okay, keep that in mind. The other generators are powers of 3, where the exponents are positive integers less than phi of 17 and relatively prime to phi of 17. Now phi of 17, if you calculate, is 17 times 1 minus 1 by 17, which becomes 16. In fact, if you, in place of 17, if you take any prime, any prime p, the result will be p minus 1. So we have to consider exponents which are relatively prime to 16 and less than 16. 1 of course we won't take because we will get this generator back, and these are 3 cube, which becomes 27, and that is equal to this congruence class. Then 3 to the power 5, because 5 is also less than 16, relatively prime to 16. Since the only factors of 16 are powers of 2, so we have to avoid those things. In particular, we have to avoid even integers. Then 3 to the power 5, this becomes equal to 5. 3 to the power 7, that is equal to 11. Then 3 to the power 9. This is equal to 14. 3 to the power 11, that is 7. Then 3 to the power 13 is 12. Please verify these things, okay? You calculate yourself and see whether what we have here is correct or not. And finally, 3 to the power 15 is, what is it? 6. So these are the other generators of U70. Another one, exercise 32. Show that U18 is a cyclic group. Here we are not asked to find the other generators, just we have to show that it's a cyclic group. One can verify that U18 is equal to this cyclic group, but this, again I am saying, this is congruence class modulo 18 containing 5. Exercise 33. Show that U20 is not a cyclic group. Okay. We have order of U20 equal to phi of 20. So phi of 20 according to our formula for the phi function is what? 20 times, what are the prime factors of 20? 2 and 5, because 20 is 2 square times 5. So that means this will be 20 times 1 minus 1 by 2 times 1 minus 1 by 5. Okay, so this will become 1 by 2. That will give us, if we multiply that with 20, we get 10. This gives us 4 by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, since before we write this the equations for the order of the elements, we write the elements in U20 themselves. Note that U20 has these elements. It will have 8 elements. 1, 2 will not be there, 3 will be there, 4 won't be there, 5 won't be there, 6 won't be there, 7, not 8, 9. Then what else? 11, 13, 14, 15, 16 won't be there, 17, and 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the elements of U20. Now we can write, since here we have found the actual orders. So that part also you have to meticulously calculate. Since order of 9 is equal to order of 11, which is equal to order of 19, is equal to 2, and order of the rest of the elements except the identity element are all equal to 4. Okay, order of 7, 3, 7, then 13 and 17. U20 has no element of order 8. Let us quickly verify whether we have covered all the elements. 3, 7, 9. 3, 7, 9. 11, 19, 13, 17. Yes, we have covered all the elements. And of course the identity element 1, whose order is 1. Hence, U20 is not a cyclic group. So we have seen quite a few examples of UN. Some of them are cyclic groups, some of them are not. Now still there is one more. Okay, let's solve that one also. So this is exercise 34. Show that U25 and U27 are both cyclic. One can verify that U25 is equal to 3 and U27 is equal to 2. Where? So this is one exercise where we have two moduli, not that, but clearly from these equations we can understand that this congruence class is modulo 25, whereas this one is modulo 27. Okay, the verification of this is also left to you. So both of them are cyclic. So now we have seen many examples of UN. Some of them are cyclic and some of them are not. So the next exercise asks us to guess at the values of n for which UN is cyclic, and this is not easy, but it follows from a result from number theory. So the exercise goes like this. Exercise 35. Hazard a guess at what all the n such that UN is cyclic are. You can verify your guess by looking in any reasonable book on number theory. And our reasonable book is Barton's Elementary Number Theory. We will start it soon. And the solution is, it comes from a result from that book. For an integer n greater than 1, UN is cyclic if and only if n is equal to 2 or n is equal to 4 or n is equal to p to the power n, or say let us take k. Because we have n here, sorry, so we cannot take n. N is equal to p to the power k, or n is equal to 2 times p to the power k, where p is an odd prime and k is a positive integer. To see the full result, it's a result. See theorem 810. Barton. If you want, you can see some specific values of n that we have here, for which the corresponding group is cyclic or not cyclic. You can try to match the results in the previous exercises with this general result. This result comes from something known as whether a given integer has something called a primitive root or not. We will see what primitive roots are when we study Barton's elementary number theory. Okay, so let us just keep this solution like this. Okay, next we come to exercise 36. So exercise 36 is the one which we have used in several places before, and it is this. If A is an element in G, where G is some group, and A to the power m is equal to E, m is some integer such that this equation is true, then prove that order of A divides n. Okay. Order of A divides n. By the Euclidean algorithm. So this is the problem. In some texts, the algorithm that gives you quotient and remainder when you do a division is called Euclidean algorithm, and in some texts it's called division algorithm. In Herstein it's called Euclidean algorithm. By the Euclidean algorithm, there exist unique integers Q and R such that m is equal to Q times order of A plus R. So we are dividing the integer m by order of A, but keep in mind this is possible only because order of A is non-zero. The divisor should always be non-zero. In fact, in this case it is positive. Order of any element in a group, by definition, if it is finite, then it is a positive integer. So here division is possible such that this and the inequalities, the remainder is non-negative and is less than order of A. Okay. Now E is equal to A to the power m, this is given, and this is equal to Now m is q times order of a plus r. So using the rules of exponent, you can write it like this: a to the power order of a whole to the power q times a to the power r. But a to the power order of a is identity times a to the power r. So this is e times a to the power r, that is equal to a to the power r. So r is a non-negative integer such that a to the power r is identity. Because r is less than order of a, and order of a is by definition the smallest positive integer such that the corresponding power of a is equal to the identity, so that's why r cannot be positive. R has to be equal to 0. Minimality of order of a then implies that r cannot be positive. That is, we must have r equal to 0. But if r is 0, then order of a divides m, because m is then a multiple of order of a. But then order of a divides m, and that's what we wanted to show. So this is the solution. Now this next one is not there in the book, but I have included it. It will become helpful later on. So this is a special exercise. And as such it's not numbered. Let G be a group I am sure this is available in other books, but in Herrstein it's not available. Let A be an element of G, and this have finite order. And let that order be M. Okay. And let n be a positive integer. N is some positive integer. So we have a group G which itself may not be finite, but there is an element A in G which has finite order n, and we are also given a positive integer n. Find the order of this power a to the power n. That is the exercise. So we can solve it like this. Let K denote the quantity m divided by the greatest common divisor of m and n. Note that n is a positive integer, and since m is the order of some element, by definition it's a positive integer. So both m and n are positive integers. So first of all, their greatest common divisor exists and is itself by definition a positive integer, and that divides m. So this k we have here is actually itself a positive integer. It's not a, it looks like a fraction, but it's actually an integer, a positive integer. Okay, since, but we also know that the GCD of m and n besides dividing n, it also divides n. Since it divides n, so this quantity s, which is n divided by GCD of m and n, is also a positive integer, is a positive integer, and we have this nk is equal to ms. You multiply n with k, you will get mn divided by GCD of m and n, or you multiply m with s, you will again get mn divided by GCD of m and n. So they are equal. Okay. Now nk. Now a to the power n whole to the power k is, by our rule of exponent, a to the power nk, but nk is ms. Again, using that same rule, this is equal to this, but m according to the exercise is the order of a, so this will be equal to e to the power s, which is equal to e. So you see that the kth power of the element a to the power n is equal to e. So by the previous, I think it's the previous exercise, no, 36, order of a to the power n divides k. That is the conclusion, no? Yes. So by exercise 36, order of a to the power n divides k. Okay, so we get one relation. Next, a to the power n times order of a to the power n. The solution may look quite complicated and it may be difficult to guess how to start the solution, but usually I have already discussed this aspect of solutions before. When one tries to find a solution, most of the times one fails. Okay, it's in the during the process of going back and forth with the arguments that one comes up with the solution, and then one arranges the solution properly. So it looks like this, and one cannot immediately see why k has to be taken in the beginning. So those things only come after playing with the arguments for some time, and comes to only someone who has spent a lot of time trying to solve the problem. Now next, this power here, the base is a and the exponent is n times order of a to the power n. Again, by our rule of exponent, this is a to the power n whole to the power order of a to the power n. So any element to the power its order is equal to identity. This is equal to identity. So this tells us that this power of a is equal to identity. So again we are in a position to use exercise 36. So by exercise 36, we have order of a divides n times order of a to the power n, because this power of a is equal to identity. But order of a is nothing but m. M is the order of a, so m divides this. Okay, so m divides this. That means if m divides this integer, then k, which is equal to m divided by GCD of m and n, this is also an integer, will divide this n divided by GCD of a and m and n times order of a to the power n. Why is that? So if you ask me, the relation that order of a divides n times this means what? N times order of a to the power n is equal to order of a times some integer, say alpha. Then only we can say that this divides this. No. But next, what you do, you divide both sides by this GCD. This is m. So dividing both the sides by GCD of m and n gives us this. Now this is an integer, this is an integer. So this equation tells us that this divides this. That's what we are writing. Now this thing is k and this thing is s. So this is s times order of a to the power n. Okay. S times order of a to the power n. Okay, now we have to use, so here what we have got is this. It's not coming properly. K divides this. Now we have to use a result again from Barton's elementary number theory. It's not very difficult to prove this result. Now by corollary, to theorem 2.4. of Barton K and S are actually relatively prime. In fact, I can quickly show you why that is the case. Say, no, we don't have to use any notation for us. We already have the GCD. You already know that the GCD of m and n is a linear combination of m and n, where alpha and beta are some integers. What you do, you divide both sides by this GCD. This tells you that this particular linear combination of these two integers, that is k and s, is equal to 1. So the GCD of k and s is 1. So that's why we are getting this. So now k divides s times this, and k and s are relatively prime. So k has to divide this. Hence, k dividing s times order of a to the power n implies k divides order of a to the power n. We now combine these two divisibility relations along with the fact that k and s, a order of a to the power n, are both positive integers. Since k and order of a to the power n are both positive integers, the relations this divides k and the other one imply that k and order of a to the power n are equal. Order of a to the power n is equal to k, and this is m divided by GCD of m and n. So this is the order of a to the power n. What you have to do to calculate this order is that you divide the order of a, m is the order of a, by the GCD of n and the order of a. That will give you the order of a to the power n. Okay, now next exercise 37. After this also we have some exercises, but I will stop the video here after solving this one. The others we will solve in another video. If in the group G only a few are left, so this set of exercises is nearing its end. If in the group G a to the power 5, a is some element in G, a to the power 5 is equal to e, and a inverse is equal to b square for some elements a and b in G, then we have to find order of b. Okay, so using these equations we have to somehow figure out the order of b. So let's see how that can be done using a inverse equal to b square. We get a b square a inverse will be what? a inverse. Note that this can be written as a inverse times a inverse. Why? Because this a inverse and a will cancel out and we will be left with b. That will give us b square. On the left, to the left of b square we had a, and to its right we had a inverse. So we will get this back, and this is nothing but a inverse whole square. So this is equal to b square whole square, so that is b to the power 4, and we can carry out this calculation. I mean, we can carry on with this calculation with more steps, this will be equal to a b square a inverse whole square. So this will be equal to b to the power 8, then a b to the power 8 a inverse is equal to a b to the power 4 a inverse whole square. This will be 16, and a b to the power 16 a inverse is a b to the power 8 a inverse whole square. So this is b to the power 32. Hence b to the power, I need some ink at this last moment. Hence b to the power 32 is equal to what was this step? Is it b to the power 32 is equal to a? Okay. A b to the power 16. So now we have to run the calculation backwards in a particular way. Now in place of b to the power 16, we can substitute this. So we will have a b to the power 8 a inverse giving us a square b to the power 8 a to the power minus 2. Then in place of b to the power 8 we can substitute this. Doing so, the exponent of a will increase by 1, b to the power 4 here, like this. Then again in place of b to the power 4 we can write this one, giving us a to the power 4 b square a to the power minus 4, and finally in place of b square we can write a b a inverse. So this is equal to a to the power 5 b a to the power minus 5. Now we can use this first equation. A to the power 5 is identity, so a to the power minus 5 is also equal to identity. E b e. So this is equal to b. So what have we got here? B to the power 32 is equal to b. This implies b to the power 31 is equal to identity. So by exercise 36, order of b divides 31. Since 31 is a prime, B have order of B is equal to 1 or order of B is equal to 31. Keep in mind, order is by definition positive. So since 31 is a prime number, so its only positive divisors are 1 and 31 itself. So these are the possible orders of B. So I end this video here. So in the next video we will look at the other exercises.